A very warm welcome to all those who are tuning into this broadcast on News 9 Live. This is Business Plus. I'm Krishna Kumar and joined in the studios by Karthik Malhotra and Suyash Maheshwari. And we are beginning, as always, with the wrap-up of the day's trading session. Suyash, the close of the markets is flat, but what we can understand from that is that markets are clearly in a wait-and-watch kind of a mode.
Definitely, Krishna. So after opening in the green in today's session, Indian markets remain largely range bound throughout the session, and it seems that the investors have adopted a wait and watch mode ahead of the Jackson Hole symposium, which is on August 25th, which will provide further clarity whether the US Federal Reserve will hike interest rates or not. Now at close, Nifty 50 was up marginally at about 0.01% and closed just shy of the 19,400 mark. Sensex was also up about 0.01% and closed above the 65,200 levels. Nifty mid cap and the Nifty small cap 100 index continued to build on the bullish momentum of the opening trade and gained nearly a percentage. Now Nifty mid cap 100 was up 1.1%, whereas Nifty small cap 100 was up 0.81% at close today.
Right, all technically in the green, but not much so. Pairing
0.01% and hardly any gain. It is as flat comes.
Yeah, that's as much wait and watch as possible. It's really like the market's not willing to move up further or move down further for that matter, just staying where they are. Consolidation is another way of calling this. Before we go any further, also talk to us, Suyash, about the sectors for the day and the stocks for the day, if you can.
Yes, so among sectoral indices, FMCG and the metal pack posted decent gains in today's session. Nifty Bank lost momentum and closed about 0.02% down below the crucial 44,000 level. IT pack was another which was in the red today. It was down about 0.11%. FMCG outperformed and outperformed the benchmark. It was up about 0.66%. Auto pack was also in the news. It was up about 0.52%. PSU Bank lost about 0.49%. Now among individual stocks, if you look at the gainers, Adani Enterprises was the top gainer in today's session. It was up about 2.2% after promoters picked up another 2.2% stake in the company, taking their holding to about 69.81%. SDFC Life Insurance was up about 1.71%. Now this was on the back of a rally in most insurance stocks in today's session. ITC was up about 1.44% after Sher Khan raised the target price for the stock to about 496 rupees. NTPC and Hero MotoCorp also were among the top gainers in today's session. Now on the other side, Jio Financial Services was the top loser today. It was down about 5%. BPCL, Cipla, Bajaj Finserv, Eicher Motors and TCS also were among the top losers in today's session.
All right, the top losers and the top gainers for the day. Suyash, thank you for that. Let's take this across to now. Kranthi Bathini, Director, Equity Strategy, Wealth Mill Securities, and joins us live on this broadcast. Kranthi Bathini, thank you so much, as always, for being with us here on Business Plus on News 9 Live. Wait and watch mode on Dalal Street, at least if you were to look at the broader markets and the way some of these sectoral indices have performed. For example, pharma is down 0.2% for the day, but you know how good the pharma story has been in the stock markets in the recent past. So it's as if Dalal Street is just holding its breath for Jackson Hole.
Absolutely, Krishna. The markets are, rightly you mentioned, it's in a consolidation phase right now. Market was throughout the day it was swinging in between red and green. Okay, it was trading in a very tight, narrow range of Nifty around 50 to 60 points. That's what the market is currently posing to the investors. But the overall setup is quite strong, even though Nifty is trading at a tight, narrow range. Currently, markets are swinging in between red and green. Overall market breadth, if you see the advanced decline ratio and also the mid and small cap stocks, and there is a stock specific action that's taking place at this point of time. Overall, what we can conclude is markets are in a tight consolidation phase right now. But the point to ponder, Krishna, one thing is last 10 trading sessions, okay, there was markets were drifting down and markets taken a support in the range of 19,200. So the point to ponder for the investors is any dip that Indian market, any knee-jerk reactions that provides in Indian markets, it's definitely a very good opportunity for the investors to take the advantage of these dips in a medium to short term.
Okay, so you're saying investors out there should be wary of all, to keep a track of the way markets are going and take advantage of the right dips at the right time, because at the end of the day, markets are finding support levels at this stage to set itself for a higher stage, hopefully going forward. But also talk to us, stocks, in the trading session that really stood out for you, Kranthi. We've seen the Adani stocks move, again, a top gainer for the day. Reliance, Geofin, not Reliance, Geo Financial Services continuing to be a loser, yet to turn a gainer ever since its listing.
Yeah, it's just hardly the second day of the listing, Krishna, because the stock listed yesterday around 265 levels, and the stock exchange kept this Geo Financial Services in 5% circuit limit. It can move upwards either 5% or come down 5%. And it's in a T group stock. One thing we need to take into cognizance always with respect to the Geo Financial Services is concerned. The stock has came as a, everybody knows and aware, it is as part of demerger from Reliance Industries, and Reliance Industries with it's the largest company in terms of the market capitalization. That means the stock is widely owned by the retail institutions and also various institutions across the segments. So, and the fair value of Geo Financial Services as per us is coming around in the range of 200. So when the stock got listed in the higher range, what we witnessed is some kind of profit booking that's taking place with respect to Geo Financial Services is concerned.
Kranthi, I mean, JFS is correcting because of, as you said, profit booking, and I mean, passive investors are also selling the stock. But why is Reliance under pressure? Like, it ended today's session with moderate gains, but the stock over the past few sessions has shown weakness. Why is that the case?
Yeah, the main reason is some kind of the index is witnessing at the higher range some kind of selling pressure, because Reliance that comes under the index heavyweight. So when the markets are in a consolidation zone, always some kind of pressure will be there for Reliance Industries. And one thing we also need to consider the reason, as the global yields that are inching upwards, that can create some kind of pressure for Reliance Industries on a medium to short term, because they have plans to raise debt in terms of to meet their new engagements and new plans with respect to the green hydrogen and all. So some kind of pressure that can create companies who are in the phase of capex, who are in the phase of expanding their capex plans are concerned. And we need to wait and watch. Our main exciting theme for Reliance Industries is what the outcome of annual general body meeting of Reliance Industries. That's going to be a big day for Reliance Industries.
Now, Kranthi, as we know, JFS will be dropped from the indices benchmark Nifty and Sensex on August 24. What kind of impact do you see for the benchmarks? Will we see some sort of correction over there?
We need to see how the exchange is going to take this measure. Okay, right now the stock is in a T2 category. That means the trading segment. Trading segment in the sense, when we are selling the stock, we need to ensure that the stock has to be delivered to the exchange. And there is no, and when we are buying the stock, 100% the margin should be available for the investors. So, and no intraday is absolutely allowed in a company when it's in a T segment. So this is the segment the stock exchange has given the stock at this point of time. So we need to wait and watch further how the things are going to pan out, Ash, at this point of time.
But I mean, the removal of JFS, the market cap will drop by how much the market cap of JFS is, right? So will there be some sort of an adjustment as to the weightage of Reliance in both the benchmarks, or how is that going to play out?
There will be some minute impact will be there. We need to wait and watch how the things are going to pan out. And also what we can expect is any kind of, because Geo Financial Services is concerned at this point of time. Okay, they are just laying the roadmap to foray in an aggressive way in terms of their financial services, both NBFC, Reliance, insurance business, and also the fintech business, fintech lending is concerned. So we need to wait and watch what kind of announcements that might come in the coming few days. Everybody crosses their fingers to watch these developments with respect to Geo Financials are concerned.
Right. We'll just move away from Reliance for a bit and go to the other big group in this country, which is the Adani Group. Adani Group stocks, Adani Enterprise for the day, one of the top gainers for the day, has been on a gaining spree ever since that big news of Deloitte exiting the group came out because of further and further investment. First it was GQG picking up stake, and now your promoters upping their stake, pumping in more money into the company. Tell us the story of Adani post Deloitte.
Yeah, it's a very positive gains what we are witnessing, Krishna, with respect to Adani Group is concerned. One thing is the results are quite good with respect to all the group companies are concerned. And post that, the Deloitte, it's created some kind of knee-jerk reaction for the investors. But what we witnessed is some kind of institutional buying, the GQG buying in Adani Group around, till now their exposure towards Adani Group alone is concerned, comes around 25,000 crores. So that's a huge sum for a foreign portfolio investor to hold in a single group with respect to different entities. And they bought shares recently last week in Adani Power around $1 billion. And apart from Adani Enterprises, today if we see the other individual stocks of the group like Adani Transmission, the stock in the last 10 trading session, it's rallied around 15%. Okay, it rallied from around 800 to today, it is consolidating around 960 levels. So there is some action in the other segments of the group also concerned. So some kind of buying interest is emerging in Adani Group companies, but the big news what we need to expect from Adani Group is what is the outcome of the SEBI observations and report which is going to be submitted to the Supreme Court. So right now SEBI has asked for 15 days time. So we need to wait till this month end how the final report of SEBI observation committee which is going to be coming to the public domain.
But Kranthi, the fact that Adani Group is raising its stake in, like earlier it was Adani Ports, last week they raised their stake, now it is Adani Enterprise, does that indicate that the group actually believes that maybe SEBI could, hand them a clean sheet?
That we need to, because it's a regulatory issue, I can't comment, but we need to wait. It is in judiciary and also the regulators are taking things. So we need to wait and watch how the outcome of the report can be. But one thing I can tell from the screen and from the activity that's happening, the promoters have been and the company management has been raising their cash levels to meet the bond obligations that are due, and also trying to increase the confidence of the investor. They have been meeting different kind of foreign portfolio investors and some kind of foreign portfolio investors are still showing interest with respect to Adani Group is concerned.
Kranthi, I mean, I understand that you don't want to comment on the SEBI's report, but what is the best and the worst case scenario for the Adani Group stocks? Now, like if SEBI does give it a clean sheet, how much do you expect the stocks to rise? And on the other side, if it gives a qualified report or a completely negative report, how much will the stocks fall from the current juncture?
Or in other words, if I may, before one way of rephrasing the question is, if we have mutual funds / positions in the stock market with exposure to Adani's group stocks, how are we supposed to look at the way forward?
Yes, and Krishna, you nailed it actually. So the main thing what we need to see is these stocks are high beta and momentum in nature. So they respond quickly to the positive news in a very momentous way, and they will drift down on a high beta note for a negative news. So one thing is clear: these stocks are high beta in nature. So the investors who likes the volatility, these are the best stocks, I can say. But the investors who are very risk averse and also don't like the volatility, this is not the stocks to be in for the investors are concerned.
All right, I'm guessing we'll have to leave it at that. It's a good detailed analysis of the day's trade and what to watch out for going forward as well. Kranthi Bathini, as always, pleasure having you here on Business Plus on News 9 Live. Hope to keep having you again and again on the show with all your wisdom on the stock market. But for now, we'll let go of you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Ash, and thanks, Krishna, for having me on your show.
Pleasure, sir. So yeah, fascinating, isn't it? So, according to Kranthi's words, there are high beta stocks, these Adani stocks. So for all those watching, if you have it in your SIP or MF / your equity portfolio, you have
volatility is what you have to brace yourself
exactly. You have to have a strong heart. You have to have a strong heart if you have Adani in your portfolio. You expect wild swings both upwards and downwards. Seem to be the word coming in as far as Adani is concerned. Interesting to note how markets now spread out across sectors. You've been talking about sectors as well. It's not just about the Reliance and the Adanis of the world. The pharma stocks doing well.
Insurance stocks are doing.
Insurance stocks are doing well too. We were going to discuss that. But then, auto stocks have been doing really well in recent times too. And there is some fascinating news from the auto sector. For the auto sector, for example, and from the government, and not just for auto sector, anybody who's interested in buying a car in this country, because when we go out and buy cars, and Indians are buying cars like crazy. It's the reason why auto stocks are doing so well. The demand is absolutely fantastic. Indians are very clear these days. The number of features that they want in cars is only going up. The basic ones. Even these days the Honda City Basic has their ADAS features. Similarly, safety features are right now top of mind as far as buying cars are concerned. All cars, keep showing off, Suyash, about the kind of globally attested safety features that they have. For long, we've been wanting one in India where India attests a good safety feature for cars, and officially it was launched today, Karthik. It's called the Bharat NCAP, isn't it?
Absolutely, Krishna. And I think let's not steal the thunder away. Let's just listen into the minister and see what it means, not just to the consumers, but also to India's domestic demand and export potential.
Yes, let's listen to Nitin Gadkari.
Bharat NCAP. People can understand the quality of the product. And now we are going to create awareness in the mind of the customers. And it is really important that they can understand what is the quality of the product. At the same time, I feel that there is a huge domestic demand for higher star rating vehicles in India. One thing you remember, the people are quality conscious. People are very, very quality conscious. Now people are very cautious about the safety. People are very cautious about pollution. People want to use different type of fuel because they are fed up with the pollution. And because there are a lot of people who are facing crucial problems regarding the air pollution also, that is a big challenge. I feel that if new option is there, alternative is there, people are ready to accept that. I am really happy that today, this is really one of the historical day where we are launching this program. And today, we have the report which has given to me that the request to test and certify more than 30 models of different companies under Bharat NCAP has already been received. I am really happy for your response, and I am giving my special thanks to all of you, and particularly the cooperation of auto companies. I am really happy. Now this is the way in which we are marching towards international standards and towards global economy.
Right, we heard from the horse's mouth, Karthik, on these numbers really tell the story. 5 lakh road accidents, 1.5 lakh deaths every year in India. There was always going to be a need for a homegrown safety assessment feature. I just want to, before we go, take it across to our guest, Mr. Shashank Srivastava, who is joining us, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki. 30 models, already ready to be tested by NCAP. What are your initial thoughts on this system?
Krishna, I think long awaited, much deserved safety standard now finally making it to India. My only grouse with the whole announcement is that it is still voluntary for auto companies. It is not mandatory. This government particularly, I'm happy to report, has taken road safety more seriously than what we have seen previously in the country, whether it is with respect to seat belts for passengers sitting at the back, whether it is with respect to at least 2 airbags in every car that comes on Indian roads. And now this third decision by way of introduction of Bharat NCAP, I think it's about time that we take safety of passengers, safety of drivers very seriously. And my request to the minister is that lay out a roadmap that beyond, let's say, 1 year to 18 months from now, these ratings become compulsory, and there should be some power vested with the state to not let new car models be launched unless they meet a minimum threshold of safety ratings.
Right, long awaited, Mr. Shashank Srivastava, long awaited, finally have it, Bharat NCAP, one way or the other, it's like GST, long awaited, we finally have one. It's not perfect, but it's a good start, you'd say?
Absolutely. By the way, just for the information of the viewers, there is obviously mandatory safety standards which already exist. Every vehicle has to go through those mandatory tests, and without passing those mandatory tests, the cars cannot come on the road. So this announcement today goes beyond those mandatory safety standards. So it is not as if mandatory safety standards don't exist. They do exist. They are actually almost on par with Europe. But now we are talking of extra safety over and above the regulation. And that is what the measurement system is about, the GNCAP and the BNCAP. And it's so, and we are very happy. We welcome this step to go beyond the mandatory safety standards. In fact, that would help consumers to make informed choices based on actual ratings, and also the fact that the government of India is behind these ratings, not a private agency like a thing. It is therefore likely to be very authentic and objective, and that's a very positive sign.
So Shashank, hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Just help us understand what are the existing safety features that one does not know of apart from the basic, seat belts and airbags and auto braking systems, and what is it going to entail for car makers to really comply with these new safety features to get a high NCAP rating?
Yeah, so it's not just about features. So we have, these ratings are based on the crash tests, which are done both on the frontal and the side impacts. Crash test, is about 56 km/h for mandatory, but in BNCAP it will be at 64 km/h. So it's a little bit more stringent. On the side crash, of course, it is similar at 50 kmph. So it is not just about features. Of course, features like ESP or for example, the HUD or a 360 camera. These are also additional features, or a ISOFIX, for example, which adds to the safety. The more such features exist, of course, the better the vehicle will perform under these crash conditions, and therefore it's likely to get a better safety rating, the highest being 5. And it's like if you get about 27 points out of about 32, you should get to a 5-star rating. And of course, different vehicles will have a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
But sir, for a vehicle to arrive at the 5-star rating, there are going to be these new added enhancements, if not features. There are going to be enhancements by the automaker, yes. And there is obviously likely to be a price impact and a cost impact for customers by and large. For a company like Maruti, which unfortunately in reports does not seem to be among the safest cars on Indian roads, especially the entry-level cars from the Maruti stable, what does this really mean for Maruti's positioning as a brand on Indian roads, which has been able to sell and survive and thrive, if I may, on account of not expensive cars but very affordable cars?
Yeah, so there is obviously a cost element with every features. By the way, your information on safety for Maruti is not correct. It is many of our vehicles have got extremely good ratings, and you will see that because we will be offering small cars also in the voluntary B NCAP system. There is, by the way, no rating system in India in existence. So I don't know where these reports originate. However, when you look at the B NCAP, which is the first time you are seeing an authentic and objective system being introduced, we will be supplying on a voluntary basis more than 3 of our models initially, and that's what was referred to by the minister as well, which will include our small cars as well. And we will see the ratings. Certainly, it's good because even if there is an additional cost, consumers can make a very informed choice because they have an option to choose basis the safety ratings. And of course, one thing I must tell you here is that the criteria of purchase of vehicles has the weightage for safety has been going up. In fact, it's gone up 3 times in the last 5 years. So it's something which is very important to consumers and hence to the OEMs as well.
Okay, the minister also referred to the pollution aspect, and I'm just trying to grapple with the fact that has safety rating got a direct correlation with the pollution, or are we talking about 2 separate things here, Mr. Srivastava?
Yeah, it's a 2 separate thing, of course. I think what the minister was referring to, the different powertrains which are now available. We have some norms which are relating to emission and norms relating to safety, 2 separate things. Safety norms is what affects the NCAP ratings. But you have emission norms, of course. Recently, we had the RD norms introduced on the BS6 phase 2.
Right.
And going forward, the CAFE norms, which will kick in 27 and also the 4th phase of 2032. Those are extremely heavy, on the emission, very, very, very strong on the emission front. In fact, you'll be happy to note that in the and among all the OEMs in our country, the lowest emission fleet is from Maruti Suzuki. We are at about 304 grams per kilometer of CO2, which is the lowest. And we will obviously, because the emission norms are getting more stringent, we are looking at more powertrain options as a mix of options, including EVs. And of course, CNG, which is also we are also looking at strong hybrids. And there will be a mix of technology, including flexi fuel and biogas fuel, which will help us achieve the emission target set by the government.
Right. I think everybody is waiting with bated breath for the Maruti EV to hit the roads. 2025, we believe, is the target. But coming back to safety, coming back to Bharat NCAP, you didn't answer my question, sir, on the price delta which consumers are likely to pay for safer cars. So if a car, is there a calculation that you've made already?
It's simple. If the basic small car from Maruti is stable with under say 5 lakh rupees. The moment it gets an NCAP certification, does it become 5.5?
Or a 5-star or a 4-star rating on Bharat NCAP? Does it become a 6 lakh or a 7 lakh car? Yeah. Or what is the delta in percentage terms, sir?
So listen, it all depends on what type of additional features to be added or what changes need to be made in vehicles in different segments. So there is no ballpark figure which I can say it's 50,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. It really depends on what the vehicle already has and what the delta in terms of features and changes in the vehicle structure would be in order to calculate the cost. But obviously, one very positive thing is, irrespective of the cost, of course, it is very important. Safety is very important, and therefore it's great to have the BNCAP now that consumers will make those choices basis the ratings, and that's something which is great. By the way, the figure which you showed, 1.5 lakh deaths in the auto industry in India, almost about I think 83 or 85% happens on what we call in the two-wheeler and the pedestrian category.
Right. Okay, so, this is data from the minister's speech, so this is data we've picked up from what the minister quoted.
It's overall
road accident deaths, not specifically car-related deaths.
1.5 lakh is correct.
Right.
1.5 lakh is correct.
Right.
How much is out of car is what I'm saying. 83% is from scooters, two-wheelers and pedestrians.
Fair enough. Point taken, sir. Bharat NCAP, incidentally, India becomes the 5th country to have this crash test safety system after US, China, Japan and South Korea. Also, Bharat NCAP also means that it can pick up cars randomly for test and attest them so that there's transparency in the procedure, which means that all cars made in India and imported into India, Bharat NCAP will be doing random tests to make sure the procedure is transparent. In a sense, talk to us about Bharat NCAP vis-a-vis other countries who have similar systems.
Yes. So if your question is about the random, yes, it is random across. So you have and remember, the lowest variant of any model will be chosen. The vehicle will be picked up randomly. So often it happens that the top end variants have got more features than safety features than the lower end variant. But clearly the specification here is that for ratings of any model, it will depend on the safety rating of the lowest variant of that model. And that will be done at random. Of course, manufacturers on their own can offer the higher end variant as well for testing, which can also be separately tested. So it's a very fair system, I think.
Fair enough. What I was asking is that you already have 4 countries who have their own testing system, safety testing system. How do you rate India's own testing system, knowing the inner workings of what they're doing? Or are they on par, or are we beating global standards?
Absolutely on par, I would say, because without the testing standards being facilities being at par, you cannot have these norms unless you measure. You won't be able to give the ratings. So you need to have those facilities to measure. And I'm happy to say that India has it. And that's why today we have the BNCAP system in India.
Now, of the 30 cars that the minister was referring to, sir, you said 3 cars are already from the Maruti stable. Is that right, sir?
We are offering minimum 3 cars, including small cars.
Yeah. Which are these 3 cars, if you could tell our viewers?
Actually, it is the Baleno, the Brezza, and also the Grand Vitara, which
all top-selling models.
Of course,
top-selling models. What about the Wagon-R and the Alto and the Celerio? Are these likely to make it to the testing also sometime soon, sir? I believe 1st October is when we initiate the testing.
Surely, because we have 18 models, we can't offer all 18 immediately. So we are offering both small and the mid-size as well. So I'm happy to see this number going up in the future.
And sir, since you're with us, and we'll not miss this opportunity of also asking you about Maruti's EV plans. What can we expect in 2025? What sort of a car is on the drawing board and being piloted right now? Would it be in the hot-selling SUV category, or would Maruti start its foray into EV with a smaller sized car?
No, it will be in the SUV category. It's a mid SUV vehicle. In fact, the prototype, the vehicle was displayed at the Auto Expo in January. It's called the EVX, and it will be introduced sometime in 2024-25 financial year. We are currently making all preparations towards that, and hopefully we'll make a good mark in the EV space as well.
So do you think the e-mobility highways, the infrastructure, the charging facilities, battery swapping facilities, is all of that moving at the right pace for India's mission to have 30% of its 4-wheelers electric by 2030 to be realized?
I think our projection for the cars, passenger vehicles, is about 17% by 2030. And we have seen that the adoption of EVs in different countries, there is a point of inflection at around 4%, 4 to 5% of adoption, that it suddenly goes up. That currently is at 2.4% at the moment. We are expecting in 24-25 to reach that 4.5%, at which time you would see that inflection point being reached, and then increase in the adoption rate for EVs. But one of the big hindrances for the adoption of EVs in the country today is, one, the battery cost, which is not yet localized and hence imported, and therefore quite expensive. It forms about 50% of the 45 to 50% of the cost of the EV production. And also the second part, which is the charging infrastructure, which is still not fully, I would say, ready for customer convenience. So Maruti Suzuki, as you know, Suzuki has made investments towards the localization of the battery, which should give us a very competitive position in terms of the prices, and also in terms of the charging infrastructure. There is a lot of good work being done by the government as also with the private players, and we are now looking at how to put it all together so that the customers don't find inconvenience as far as charging is concerned. So in that sense, we are at the right time in 2024-25 to introduce the first EV from Maruti Suzuki.
Any input, sir, on the battery swapping program scheme that the government has been wanting to launch? And are these batteries that go into every Maruti vehicle, Maruti Suzuki vehicle, likely to be homogeneous? Is it easy to replace one battery with another, no matter which model of car you have?
No, so battery swapping is still for cars not there. There are some two-wheelers and three-wheelers where you see that. Battery swapping is not really something which is happening in the passenger vehicle space. Moreover, as we expect that it's an evolving field, and as it evolves, we will see some sort of a uniformity in specifications. At the moment, though, it is just a charging of the battery which is there. And remember, the battery is pretty heavy, and it's not so easy as a two-wheeler to just take out the battery and replace it.
Right. And any specific expectations from the government on FAME 3? As FAME 3 is already in the works, is there something that the four-wheeler passenger vehicle segment should expect from FAME 3?
Listen, we have said that we believe that emission, to achieve emission norms, we would have to have a bunch of technologies. So it's not as if there is one technology which one has to pursue, but there will be a mix. We have already announced that by 2030, Maruti Suzuki will have about 15% EV, 25% strong hybrids, and 60% on the CNG, flex fuel, and biogas fuel, the ICE vehicles. So all technologies would coexist in our opinion, and that's what we are working at. And on the specific point of what government can do, of course, we are saying that basis the pollution levels, on that basis of emission, actually CNG and hybrids are a very, very good option, and the government should consider having some sort of a advantage for these vehicles as well.
Okay.
Right. Mr. Shashank Srivastava, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all the lowdown and everything we need to understand from NCAP to EVs, just about the entire spectrum of things. But pleasure having you as part of Business Plus on News 9 Live. Great to have you. Hope to keep having you on the show with the latest updates from Maruti Suzuki on the show. But for now, we let go of you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. Karthik, we will move away from traveling on the road to traveling in space. We, as in India, is all set to land on the moon about 24 hours or so from now. We are definitely, as the cliche goes, over the moon.
Over the moon, taking the moon shot that I think we as a country, as a nation, have so long endured as a dream. Hopefully that dream is likely to turn into reality 24 hours or so from now.
Chandrayaan3, our final, our pièce de résistance, if I may, that if India, because just saw what happened with Russia. Russia went to space before India did, and now Russia is crashing on the moon. Looks like India is all set to land on the moon. And
fingers crossed, Krishna.
Yeah.
I mean, we had our hopes pinned really high even last time around with Chandrayaan 2, Vikram lander, its maiden mission onto the moon, the surface of the moon, the dark side of the moon, to try and make a landing, did not really go through at the last moment. And we lost communication with the Vikram lander back then. This time around, hopefully, the landing gear, the communication systems, as ISRO has been reporting, have been worked upon over the last few years, and everything else last time around seemed to be perfectly in place, except for the landing mechanism and the communication link. Hopefully, with those two items fixed on the lander this time around, we should hopefully be able to make a clear-cut landing. And not just a landing, a lot beyond that. Exploration, rigging, mining, trying to probe into what lies beneath the surface of the moon. Most importantly, will there be discovery of water, some sort of water or some form of water which helps scientists back in India and the world over understand, is there life in any form possible, if not already available, on the surface of the moon. So I think a lot to go onto after the landing. The landing is what everybody has their fingers sort of crossed for and hopes pinned on.
ISRO says mission is on schedule.
Yeah, welcome, buddy. I think that was a lovely message, right? We all saw that yesterday evening, woke up in the morning to papers. I think every editorial, every headline, front page carried this welcome, buddy, the communication between the orbiter of Chandrayaan-2 with Chandrayaan-3, and then sort of communicating that communication link between the two established. So we know for sure that it is in the orbit. It is due to make its landing effort 24 hours from now. I think not just the moon landing, not just probing what lies on the moon. I think as a pure confidence building measure for India, for India's space programs, and not just for ISRO, for the entire private sector. We've got startups, we've got private sector, government has opened space exploration for the private sector.
Right.
And this is really the moonshot that we as a country deserve. We come from, from challenges of our own. We have as a nation been able to overcome many of those challenges in the last 25 years. And when
for the first time now, we have a chance of the private sector actively contributing to our space missions. And all these space tech startups are booming, as you rightly pointing out. We have Barnik Chitran Maitra also joining us. Barnik, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us over here. Great moment for space tech in India. Momentous occasion for space tech.
Yeah, so I think best of wishes for Chandrayaan-3 to successfully land tomorrow. But regardless of the outcome, I think we are poised for a over $100 billion space tech industry in the next 15 years. So again, I'm very positive. The space tech industry has seen nearly $250 million of investments over the last 2 years. And we are going to see far more investments going forward. And it's just not what we are seeing. It's going to be space exploration. It will be manufacturing. It will be space tourism. So a lot of opportunity and a lot of prospects. Fingers crossed and all the best for tomorrow again.
Fingers crossed on that. My point is that this mission so far has, it's been a long mission, getting first the orbiter, separation, then the landing, it's gone so well so far, which already tells us that, there will be Chandrayaan 4s and 5s happening. It's a long journey in the process. And you've seen active, like Karthik is talking about, active work from the government to throw it open to the private sector as far as space exploration is concerned. I mean, we don't have to wait for the Musks of the world to land up in India. We can create our own Musks going forward.
I think we are already creating that as we speak, right? There are several startups, right, in the space. Dhruva, if you look at it, again, 4 or 5 of them which have already created waves. There are some of them who are also planning IPOs the next 2-3 years as we speak. So again, I think private sector participation in space is very important. Right now, you see all of it is government spending, but if you look at the next 15 years, we would expect 80% of the investments to come from the private sector. So again, tomorrow is a very momentous occasion and a big morale booster, but regardless of the outcome, we will have a multi-billion-dollar industry which will be led by private players in the next 5 to 10 years in this area.
All right, all eyes on what's going to happen come 6 p.m. India time tomorrow. That's when Chandrayaan-3 is set to land and complete its mission. But for now, we'll leave it at that. We are running out of time completely on the show. Mr. Barnik Chitran Maitra, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us here on Business Plus on News 9 Live. We'll let you go with that. Karthik, as always, pleasure having you on the show. It's a wrap up from my side. This is Krishna Kumar signing off. Keep it with News 9.
कर रहे हैं, जो कि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
कोटा जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन की चाह में।
ऑल इंडिया का बच्चा कोटा जाता है।
This rat race is for rats, not for humans. So why should we even be a part of it?
The Rat Race.